the previous government banning oil and gas in 2018 has caused a lack of supply of gas in particular in New Zealand. If you're a big global investor, there's no way that you're investing in New Zealand gas by virtue of an oil and gas ban. So we're repealing that. We want to repeal that as quickly as possible, and it's very deliberate because this country has, we've had a previous government called it a just transition. All that happened is we stopped producing domestic gas and we started importing huge amounts of Indonesian coal, making our global greenhouse gas emissions even worse. We're a government that cares about the environment. We care about delivering on our 2050 net carbon zero goals, and that means for us doubling the amount of renewable electricity we have in New Zealand, but also maintaining gas so that we can actually keep our lights on when we encounter years like we have this year, around dry years in particular. We have opposed the ending of an oil and gas ban from the beginning. And it's very simple. New Zealand needs gas. We are one of the countries in the world that has probably top 5 country in terms of 85% of our electricity being renewable. We need to have a constant supply of gas while we make the transition. So we are doubling the amount of renewables. That's why we're supporting and accelerating fast track, because we want to be able to get wind farms built. We want to get solar farms built. We want to do that much quicker, much cheaper. And as a result, that's why we're cutting through the red and green tape to get that job done. And on the other hand, the choice is either you continue to import huge amounts of coal or you actually produce gas, and that is important because it's got half the impact of coal. It's not as good as renewables, but New Zealand needs that because in a year like we've had this year, our driest year since 1992, our lake levels are low, the wind doesn't blow, the sun doesn't shine as much, that's when we get into trouble. So we need to be able to acknowledge we need gas in our system as a transitory energy source for some time, but we also at the same hand need to double the amount of renewables we have. We don't have capital gains tax in New Zealand, and we think it would be bad for New Zealand because you don't tax your way out of a recession as the Labour government is proposing, to borrow more, to tax more, to spend more. We have to grow our way out of a recession, and that's what we're doing here today. So we don't believe in a capital gains tax or a wealth tax. We think for people who actually generate wealth in this country, it's a massive disincentive, and as I've said along the way, this is a Labour government that took the keys to our economy, put the car in the ditch. We're getting it out of the ditch. They want it back to put it back in there again by increasing taxes, by increasing spending and borrowing more. You heard Chris Luxon say exactly that. He wants to borrow more and tax more. That's not the way out of recession. You have to grow your way out of a recession.